guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be covering all the first symptoms and signs that I had that I was pregnant prior to taking the positive pregnancy test. I know when I kind of got an inkling that maybe I was pregnant, I was binge watching these videos. I wasn't somebody that necessarily knew I was pregnant. I just, now looking back, was like there were some weird things that I didn't typically have in the weeks leading up to my period that I had the month that I was actually pregnant. So I'm going to talk about those weird things. So symptom number 1 was 5 days after conception. I said I had an intense craving for savory foods. I remember like for a week straight, all I wanted, maybe like more than a week, all I wanted was like salt and vinegar chips or pickles. I didn't want anything sweet, which isn't necessarily abnormal for me. I'm not like a huge sweets person, but it was like this need for salty food. So this was probably my biggest, weirdest symptom that I had prior to taking that test. And it was itchy boobs, so like in between my boobs, itchy armpits like right here, and actually a little bit on my lower belly. Oh my gosh, I can't even describe the itchiness that I felt. It wasn't like a mosquito bite kind of itchy. It's like this, like, I just want to claw my skin off kind of itchy. That hasn't really, it's fluctuated in its intensity, but it hasn't gone away since really this week. And I think it has something to do with hormones, why those areas are getting itchy. And like, I look at it and I'm like, I don't have a rash. It's not dry skin. What is going on? So about the week leading up when I was supposed to start my period, I was having a lot of cramps, and I know this is like very normal for people, but for me and my body, I don't really get menstrual cramps. I usually, the only time I'll really have like cramps is, you know, a couple hours leading up to like when I first start bleeding, and then a couple hours after that, like initial bleeding starts. I'm not somebody that gets cramps their whole period or like a lot leading up to my period. And so a whole week prior to my period start date, I was getting cramps. And I was like not necessarily thinking, oh, these are the implantation cramps. I didn't think that. Just was like, oh no, this is gonna be a really intense period if I'm already getting cramps. And I just kind of thought maybe my period would come early. And at this point too, I was like really wanting a baby, and I just really did not want to get into my head that I could have been pregnant, because I was like, I know it's like hard to get pregnant. Anyways, this was a pregnancy symptom I've had, you know, kind of the whole time. But I was saying randomly my nipples would get really hard and it was painful. I would get very hot or like get hot flashes. I was very hungry in the morning. Super out of the normal for me. I just never was somebody that would wake up hungry. I never really wanted breakfast in the morning. My face got super dry, just like my skin in general got dry. But I remember my face was like my foundation. Like I have slightly oilier skin, and my foundation was like dry, like flaky dry. And I started getting some pimples. So a couple days prior to finding out, I said that I was peeing like every hour, and I wasn't drinking any more water than normal, but I was just going to the bathroom a lot. So 3 days before I took my positive pregnancy test, I woke up, and I put this in quotes, I feel like I got hit by a bus. I remember waking up that week prior to taking a test and a little bit after, and just feeling this, like, not just tired, like I got hit by a bus kind of tired and just like out of it. I was sleeping 8 to 9 hours, which is a lot. Like I was getting to bed so early and I was exhausted. I also noticed my face was super puffy. Again, at work, I remember looking at myself in the mirror and just thinking, I don't even look like myself. Like, I remember one day I literally like in the mirror went, because I was like, what is wrong with me? I must just be so tired. And I was in the middle of tax season, and I'm like, it's just taking a wear on me. But I think maybe I was like bloated, like water bloating maybe. Those were all my like physical symptoms that, looking back, I'm like, okay, those were strange things that I was experiencing that I didn't typically experience prior to my period. And then these are some of the things that I experienced psychologically that made it a little bit more real to me that I could be pregnant. I remember during that month, we're just driving to work and like rubbing my belly like this. And I was just, praying like, God, if there's gonna be a little baby growing in here, just anytime soon, just prepare my womb, prepare my body for a little baby to grow. Because Nolan and I knew we wanted to start trying like within the next year or so. And so that was kind of a strange thing that I started doing. About a couple weeks before we conceived, Nolan's grandpa died. And so we went to a funeral a month later after he died. And I was actually pregnant at his funeral, which I obviously didn't know. But I remember in the middle of the funeral just like feeling like I had a baby in my stomach and just thinking, oh my gosh. And it literally made me cry because I was just thinking, why am I thinking like this? And I remember just like kind of rubbing my stomach at the funeral and just thinking like there was a baby in there. And now looking back, I think it was actually a very special moment and thought that like I was getting these feelings that I might have been pregnant, because I was. Like there was a little baby growing in there. The last thing I'll talk about is I bought these spring dresses and I was trying them on, and in the mirror I was literally like, I could be pregnant in these dresses. And even when I was shopping for the dresses, I was thinking like, would I be able to have a baby bump in this dress? Never did I shop like that, think like that, try things on and think, oh, I could be wearing this while I'm pregnant. So that was kind of just like a weird thing. And I remember just trying on the dress and being like, oh, these would be really cute with a baby bump. And here I am wearing those dresses with a baby bump. So those were kind of the symptoms and signs that I had prior to taking that positive pregnancy test that were abnormal for me. I would love to hear like some, crazy symptoms or just something very specific that you had before you've actually found out that you're pregnant. Leave me a comment below because I would love to read those. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell so you get notified every time I post. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.